It is time. This is the last worst to best video for Battlefield 5. Or, this is the final worst to best video for Battlefield 5. You know, it depends on how you look at it. I'm not planning on ranking the vehicles in Battlefield 5 because they are too dependent on their specializations, and if I have to fully rank up every single vehicle in Battlefield 5, I'm gonna have an aneurysm. Anyway, today we have the very last weapon class of this series, the LMGs. Now the LMGs in Battlefield 5 are actually kinda meh. They're nothing special in my opinion. They used to be overpowered though. For example, the KE7 was insane during the pre-alpha, and then they all got nerfed with the TTK 2.0 update, but as of right now they are all in a decent place, I would say. So let's begin with the worst LMG on the list. I'm talking about the Japanese Type 11 MG. This is one of the coolest looking LMGs in the game, but sadly compared to the others, it's just not good enough by a long shot. It has a painfully slow rate of fire of 514 rounds per minute. A lot of other LMGs have this too, but it's still bad. It has the slowest reload time in this weapon class, 4 seconds for a tactical reload and 4.8 seconds for an empty reload. You can choose the top up specialization, which increases the reload time by a bit, but it only applies to when you can reload new stripper clips, so every 5 shots, and that's just not viable in the heat of the battle to think about, you know. So it does have one of the fastest muzzle velocities in the LMG class, but the time to kill and everything else is just trash in my opinion, so it's horrible to play aggressive with, and if you want to play more passively, there are way better options. So yeah, this one belongs on the bottom of the list. Next gun on the list is the Madsen MG. Again, I really dislike this gun. This gun and the Showshed are the only two LMGs in the game that have a different damage profile. All the other LMGs deal 25 damage from up close, which is 4 shots to kill, and 15 damage from range, which is 7 shots to kill. The Madsen on the other hand deals 22 damage from up close, so that is 5 shots to kill, and 18 damage from range, which is 6 shots to kill. So that means that no matter the range, the enemies will go down with 5 or 6 shots. Now that does sound interesting, but that also means that from up close, it has the worst time to kill out of all the LMGs in the game, including the Type 11 MG, because it has the same 514 rounds per minute rate of fire. It is really bad. Recoil wise though, when fully upgraded, it's actually one of the best, but despite all that, the main problem of this gun is the giant top fan magazine that will block half your screen. It's actually madness. You can also choose the extended magazine variant, which grants it 10 extra rounds, so that's 40 rounds in total before reloading, which is really good, but it will block even more of the screen. I've died plenty of times because the magazine was simply blocking my view and I just couldn't see the enemies. It's just too bad for me. Before we go to the next gun on the list, Battlefield 5 will soon be free to play with PlayStation Plus, so that could mean that a lot of new people are gonna play the game and maybe watch these videos. So if you are new here and you haven't yet subscribed, be sure to do so, because I have a lot more stuff coming up, especially when Battlefield 6 will release. And of course, also be sure to join my Discord server, the link for that is down below. Anyway, next up on the list we have the Showshed. Like I said earlier, one of the two guns that has a different damage profile. This gun hits like a truck. 35 damage from up close and 22 damage from range. So that is a 3-shot kill up until 30 meters, a 4-shot kill up to 50 meters, and everything beyond that is still a 5-shot kill. So that's pretty insane, but obviously it does come with some major drawbacks. First of all, the rate of fire is the slowest out of all the LMGs by a mile. It's actually one of the slowest shooting guns in the whole game. 327 rounds per minute rate of fire. Insanely slow. It also kicks like a horse, as you can probably imagine. Again, it has the most recoil out of all the LMGs. And last but not least, it also has a terrible reload speed. The second worst after the Type 11, with 3.8 seconds for a tactical reload and 4.67 seconds for an empty reload. In all honesty, you are probably better off treating this gun like a DMR of some sorts, because the recoil and the rate of fire is just too extreme. But then again, the damage is also very extreme, so depending on the person, you can either hate or love this gun. I'm not a big fan of it personally, that's why I rank it like this. Next up we have yet again a slow firing LMG. This time it's the Brand gun. In a lot of ways it is actually very similar to the Madsen MG. It has the same rate of fire, it reloads just a bit quicker, and when fully upgraded the recoil is extremely similar. On default it has 5 rounds more in the magazine, but like I said, the Madsen MG can actually upgrade to have an extended magazine and the Brand gun cannot. The only real difference is the damage profile. From up close the Brand gun has a better time to kill, and from far range the Madsen has a better time to kill. So it comes down to personal choice. I prefer a faster time to kill in close range, that's why the Brand gun is higher up the list. Okay, so for the next gun on the list, this is 100% a personal choice. I reckon many of you would have this gun near the top, but in my personal experience, I don't know what it is. I just couldn't handle this gun. It just didn't work for me. I'm talking about the BAR. And the funny thing is, the BAR is actually the fastest time to kill out of all the LMGs in this game. So I really don't know what it is. Perhaps it's the recoil or something, but it just didn't work for me. On paper, it's actually insane. 720 rounds per minute rate of fire, the fastest in this weapon class, one of the fastest reloads with 2.45 seconds for a tactical reload and 3.3 seconds for an empty reload. 20 rounds in a magazine is not the best, but funny enough, a lot of LMGs have 20 rounds in a magazine, so it's not that bad. But yeah, as far as the BAR goes, I really don't know why I don't like it. I guess it's the recoil or something, because I just couldn't hit my shots, even though on paper the recoil seems to be perfectly manageable. I don't know, let's just move on, but I just want to say that I understand if you would rank the BAR way higher. Next up, again like the BAR, we have a gun that I didn't expect to be performing like it did, this time in a positive manner. Where the BAR just didn't work for me even though I thought it would, the Type 97 MG did actually work for me, big time, despite me thinking that it was trash. Now on paper, it isn't the very best, but for some reason it felt extremely reliable. It has a faster rate of fire than the other slow firing LMGs with 540 rounds per minute. That's not bad at all. Sure, it's not suitable for the most aggressive playstyle, but for medium range it absolutely slays. Because this thing, especially while using the bipod, is basically like an automatic sniper rifle. It is so accurate. I actually think it is the most accurate weapon in this weapon class. The reload times are a bit trash though, I agree, but other than that, I had a blast with this gun. And it looks crazy as hell too, so that's just a cool bonus. Anyway, next up on the list we have the KE7. This is arguably the most, normal gun on the list. Medium rate of fire, 540 rounds per minute like the Type 97 MG. It has the same damage profile, 25 rounds in a magazine, which is decent. The initial shot on this gun is pretty heavy, but overall it's very easy to control. It has one unique feature though, and that is that the reload time, despite it being an empty reload or a tactical reload, is always 3.75 seconds, which is not the fastest, but also not the slowest. Another thing to note about this gun is that it has the light bolt specialization, which increases the rate of fire to 635 rounds per minute, which is a lot faster all of a sudden, and therefore the time to kill is also improved. So that's why I rank it more towards the top of the list. Speaking about the top of the list, we are now entering the top 3. So on number 3, I chose the Lewis gun. Everybody knows the Lewis gun, the weapon of choice for most hackers in this game actually. And that's because this gun can fire the longest without overheating or reloading while aiming down sight, which is not possible for the MMGs. With the extended magazine specialization, it can fire 97 rounds continuously, and that's part of the reason why it's so high up the list. It also has very controllable recoil, but you can actually control that recoil even further by not choosing the extended magazine specialization, and if you do that, you'd still have 47 rounds in the magazine by default, which is by far more than any other LMG in the game. So because of that high magazine capacity, you can take out plenty of enemies before reloading, and that makes it great for playing more aggressively. On number 2, so the second best LMG in Battlefield 5, in my opinion, is the LS-26. Literally everything about this gun is amazing for an LMG, except maybe the magazine capacity, which is 20 rounds. But then again, like I said before, a lot of LMGs in Battlefield 5 actually have 20 rounds in a magazine, so anything more than that is more of a bonus. The LS-26 is very accurate, especially with the bipod. It has great iron sights, so you don't have to use the AA sights and lose a little bit of that extra zoom. And it has a great rate of fire, 600 rounds per minute, which is in my opinion pretty much the perfect rate of fire for this weapon. It's fast enough to be high up the list in terms of the time to kill, but slow enough to have your finger on the trigger for a good amount of time and control the weapon. It's great for taking out 1 or 2 enemies, and the tactical reload speed is the second fastest in the LMG category with 2.3 seconds, and the empty reload speed is actually the fastest alongside the BAR with 3.3 seconds. All in all, an amazing LMG in my opinion, I use it a lot. But it is not my number one pick, because there is one more LMG in this game that favors a more aggressive playstyle with an amazing time to kill. I'm talking about the iconic FG42. The FG42 has received several changes over the last 2.5 years or so, but at this point I consider it to be the best LMG in the game. It has a rate of fire of 670 rounds per minute, which is the second fastest, right behind the BAR, so it has an amazing time to kill. It also has the fastest tactical reload with 2.25 seconds, which is extremely fast for an LMG, but then again you can view this gun as more of an assault rifle. The recoil is not the best, but if you play this gun to its strength, it doesn't really matter that much. And don't forget, like every other LMG in Battlefield 5, it has a bipod, so for longer ranges you can still be pretty accurate. The only real downside is again the 20 round magazine, but despite all that, I still think it's the best. And that's about it for the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. We are now officially done with the worst to best ranking videos for Battlefield 5. Next time we're gonna do another one. It's gonna be for Battlefield 6 or whatever the next Battlefield is gonna be named. So with that being said, please drop a like on this video, subscribe if you haven't already, join the Discord, link is down below for that, and I'll see you guys next time.